Hey travel friends, it's Stoof here from Travel SzN. Welcome back to our channel. We recently returned from an 11-day RV trip through Pennsylvania, Virginia, and West Virginia, where we were lucky enough to return to 2 national parks. In this vlog, we are going to show you all of the great adventures that we went on together. We hope that you'll consider subscribing to our channel if you enjoy nature, RV, and travel-related content. We kicked off our RV trip leaving our home in the Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania area and traveling across the state to southeastern Pennsylvania, where we stayed at the Valley Campground for a long weekend. We stayed in this area because I had to work at several live painting events. Part of my business is live painting at weddings. I painted live at 2 wonderful weddings this first weekend while we stayed at that Valley Campground in Narvin, Pennsylvania. Of course, we brought our dogs, Duke and Zoro, along with us. This campground had the best dog park I've ever seen at an RV park. It was a big open dog park that was mulched all around with obstacle course features for the dogs. Place your bets now on which of our 2 dogs you think would win in an obstacle course competition. As a reminder, they're both about 2 years old. Zoro is a Husky mix and Duke is a Red-Bone Coonhound mix.
Good boy, come on. Yay! Go. Oh my goodness. Are you okay?
If you guessed Zoro to win this dog park competition, you guessed correct. Congratulations. Here's a sneak peek at some of the live painting work I did at the 2 weddings I was working this weekend. If you're interested in seeing more about my live painting process, I have another YouTube channel called The Painting Stoof, which I have linked under this video if you're interested in watching one of my recent vlogs about live event painting. After wrapping up our weekend in southeastern Pennsylvania, we took the travel trailer down to Shenandoah River State Park, located about 70 miles west of Washington, D.C., and only about 15 minutes from the north entrance to Shenandoah National Park. We loved this state park. We had a pull-through site that had electric and water hookups. Shenandoah River State Park had lots of beautiful hiking trails right along the Shenandoah River. This state park was not crowded at all. They have a day use area and the campground area. Both areas were not fully packed. The campground still had some vacant sites that whole week we were there, and the camp host and other staff at the state park do a great job of maintaining all of the facilities and amenities at this park. Because Shenandoah River State Park was so close to Shenandoah National Park, we made that campground our home base to go in and out of Shenandoah National Park several days that week. The first day in Shenandoah National Park, I drove to the Bear Fence Mountain Scramble, which is about a 1.4 mile loop that includes a fun little scramble with some beautiful views of the surrounding mountains. There are a few hikes in Shenandoah National Park that have a bit of a rock scramble with them. This is one of the easier ones in my opinion. The scramble is only for a short section and the rocks are pretty sturdy there. It's like a baby version of Old Rag. And what would a trip to Shenandoah National Park be without stopping at some of the many overlooks along Skyline Drive and taking in those beautiful views. I also hiked Stony Man that day. That's another hike I would rate as moderate, which offers some amazing views once you get up to that overlook area. This is one of the more popular hikes in Shenandoah National Park. Back at the campground, I was so excited to see a skink. I haven't seen one of those in years. They were hanging out near the bathroom area eating the little bugs, so that was an exciting find. One of our go-to meals when we're traveling is tacos. Had some tacos for dinner, and then when it got dark, we hung out with the dogs around the fire. Our next day was a rainy day, so we hung out in Shenandoah River State Park. Both did some work from the travel trailer and took the dogs for a hike. We hiked up from the campground to Collar's Overlook, which is my favorite overlook in Shenandoah River State Park. Beautiful! On Thursday this week, we hiked Old Rag Mountain. This is one of my favorite hikes in Shenandoah National Park. This hike is about 9.4 miles if you do the loop route that we selected, and over 2,500 feet elevation gain, with a section of the hike dedicated to a scramble up the rocks. I'm going to create a separate video specifically for this hike because it deserves its own video. It's a great hike, but it is not for everyone, so I'm going to have more info about that in another video. Nate did this hike with a 25-pound ruck pack on his back. I advised him against it, but he did it anyway. I don't think he realized how much scrambling there would be, but he made it through the hike. He was just pretty exhausted at the end of that day. On our last full day in Shenandoah Valley, we took a self-guided tour through Luray Caverns. It's about a 1-hour tour on a paved, wheelchair and stroller accessible path through incredible stalactite and stalagmite formations. This cave formed as acidic water trickled through the limestone and dolostone layers, eroding the rock to form a cave. All of the formations in this cave are primarily made from calcite deposits. Some formations create pretty cool looking features. Here's one called fried eggs that Nate is pretending to eat. After the caverns, we explored several of the other attractions at this property, including an automobile museum, a toy store and an antique toy exhibit, a garden maze, and Heritage Village. To navigate the garden maze, we tried looking at an aerial photo of the maze on Google Maps on our phones, and that did not help us. We still got lost, so they must have changed the maze since that map was updated. We did have to stop at some of the little help points to read about clues for where to go. We did make it through the garden maze, and it was a pretty fun thing to do. The next day, we packed up our campsite and headed southwest to the town of Fayetteville, West Virginia, where we stayed at Riff Rafters Campground. Over these next few days, we explored the landscape of the area on some hikes and scenic drives in America's newest national park, New River Gorge. We have visited this area before it reached national park status, so we're familiar with some of the features and overlooks here, but there were some new things that we have not seen yet, so we enjoyed those new adventures. My favorite part of New River Gorge National Park was this waterfall located about a 5-minute walk off of the Fayetteville Scenic Drive. So there's a small parking area there and then a little trail that can take you over to this waterfall. It was the most beautiful cascading waterfall over layers of rock covered in moss. And I've never seen anything like that in all of my travels, so I really enjoyed that waterfall. I'm going to have a video coming out about top things to do in New River Gorge National Park, so keep an eye out for that. A fun fact about New River Gorge is that the New River itself is actually a very old river, with geologists estimating 3 million years to 320 million years old. Over those millions of years, the New River cut down through the sedimentary rock layers, exposing them and creating this V-shaped valley. After exploring more of New River Gorge National Park, we packed up our campsite. We headed home to the Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania area, bringing our Pennsylvania, Virginia, and West Virginia travel adventures to a close. I hope you enjoyed watching our experience and travels. As I mentioned, I have several informative videos related to these national parks coming out soon, so keep an eye out for those videos. If you're planning your own trip to one of these destinations, then leave a comment under this video if you have any questions for us, and we'd be happy to help you out. Thanks again for watching, have a wonderful day, and we wish you happy travels!